Mm. Hello. Um, how's y'all doing? Or whoever's watching this video. Um, I want to make this video for anybody who is struggling or going through some form of addiction, such as me. Yeah, so if you are somebody who is going through some sort of addiction, such as like alcoholism, phone addiction, internet addiction, which again you get on the internet and stuff a lot, like me, porn addiction, drug addiction, cigarettes addiction, smoking a lot. It also could be weed addiction, because which I think weed shouldn't even be like something that should be abused. I think weed is, because weed is for like spiritual things, like but most people get on weed because they want to get high and stuff like that. But I'll get into that. Yeah, so this is for anybody who is dealing with or going through some sort of like addiction. So yeah, I'm gonna top it off with, like, for instance, using myself as like a way of kind of like explaining how serious it goes when you are somebody who is dealing with some type of addiction. So for instance, me, I have been dealing with like internet addiction and going on the phone a lot and like watching videos and scrolling on the phone, which in a way kind of has like not really been good, because I've kind of been like sabotaging my life in a way. So yeah, I just want to make this video for people who are going through that, like me. You know, you're constantly just like getting on the phone a lot. You know, you get on the phone and you like go see who uploaded a video of like whoever, you know, you were watching on like YouTube and stuff like that, and stuff like that. So just kind of like not doing what you need to be doing in life. Yeah, so I want to first off say but I want to say that, you know, it's not that, again, you're not alone. I know I keep saying that a lot in my other videos. Not to necessarily say you're not alone, but just to say that, like, you know, you don't have to feel like ashamed if you're going through some type of like addiction, because I know a lot of us can get hooked on things. It can even be like food that you get hooked onto, you know, if you're a person who likes to eat a lot and you're a foodie type person. I'm not trying to like say that that's bad, because of course you need to eat, you know, right? But yeah, so yes, you could be somebody who's just like me, on the phone a lot, or you could be somebody who's a drug addict. Like, I know I've dealt with somebody well, not dealt with, but I've had like family members who've been like on drugs and stuff like that, and I lost a family member due to that drug overdose. So I just found some glass. Yeah, so what it is really, we kind of like want to find out what like the root cause of it is, and in a way of like figuring out what the cause is. So I would say like the cause of it, as far as like, you know, figuring out and finding out what like why you're like addicted, is like dopamine, because we have like these dopamine receptors in our brain, and when you have too much dopamine receptors in your brain, it can kind of like damages it, you know, the thing that you're addicted to. So like, say you're doing like Molly, or you're popping like pills, and you're like, again, drugs, it's because of like dopamine as well too, and then also kind of like you needing some sort of escape, because you either wanting to feel numb to your emotions, or you just want to feel numb. You don't really want to feel anything. You don't really want to deal with things that's going on with you. So, and then also it could be escape from like life, because, you know, life can be kind of hard sometimes. Well, I can't really say that. Like, life's whatever you make it. It's not like hard, but it can be, you know, like up and down. It can be up and down. You know, it can have like some like nudges, I should say, challenges and things, you know, especially if you have kids and you got to pay bills and stuff like that, and you just have all these responsibilities. You know, it can be like that. You can even be like somebody who's like a sex addict. You know, there's that too, like somebody who's addicted to like wanting to have sex. Or addicted to like porn and stuff like that. But yeah, so like I said before, it's like dopamine receptors in your brain. Ouch, that hurt. It's dopamine receptors in your brain that keeps you wanting more of it. So for example, if you're somebody who's never, I'm gonna just say, ate chocolate before, and you, for the first time, you go to the store and you get like, I don't know, Reese's or something, and then you go and you eat the Reese's, and then once you eat the Reese's, something goes off in your brain, and what that feeling good feeling is your dopamine receptors in your brain, right? And then you're like, man, this is really good. Like, I've never had this before. I've never had Reese's cups before. I've never had Reese's chocolate before. And you're like, dang, like, I really want to go and get more of it because it's so good, right? And then, so like, kind of like that. So that's where mainly like addiction and stuff stems from. But people go to like alcohol again to like, they want to go get high and get a buzz. I know, because I've experienced alcoholism, as far as like needing to like want to get like a buzz or want to go get high or some kind of way. Again, for like marijuana smokers, cigarette smokers, it's all about wanting to feel good, because you're either like numb to what you you either want to feel numb, or like you're either numb, if that makes sense. And you like, you just don't want to feel anything at all. So like you go and something could happen and you can be really sad about something, or you can be really angry, like emotional drunks, like people who are very sad. They get sad about something that happened in life, and they go to the bar and they buy them like shots and stuff of like tequila or Jack, or just any kind of liquor, or vodka or whatever, and it's just because you want to feel good, you want to feel high. You don't really want to feel your sadness, you don't really want to feel your anger, you don't really want to feel, it's an escapism. You're trying to escape from what it is that you want to feel numb to, right? So it's definitely for that. People who are like on drugs and stuff, they could be doing Molly, meth, zine. I don't know what kind of. There's like a drug called zine or something. I could be wrong, but yeah. Again, it's just to want to feel numb. It's wanting to feel numb. It's wanting to escape, and not deal with things going on in life, or deal with like self. I am not a drug person. I've never been a drug person, never fell into that path, never will fall into that path. I've never like sniffed things up my nose, never done that. And yeah, like I'm like on drugs as far as like medication for like mental illness and stuff like that, but so-called mental illness, but they don't do anything. They don't get you high. They don't do anything. They're just purposely for depression episodes. Especially, could be that too. Like people get on things because they're depressed. They start to become alcoholics because they're depressed. Or they start to become weed smokers, or I've definitely done weed, definitely a lot of times. Again, just that feeling of want to get high and stuff like that, and because it feels good, it helps you to dissociate and stuff like that. Like I know when I would like do like some weed or smoke or whatever, I'll tend to like want to like dissociate and go off into the astral world, which AKA, or go off into like my little fantasy world, which it's the astral world, and daydream and stuff, which is actually us again, starseeds, going through portals, stuff like that, different realms and stuff that exist. If your third eye is open, you probably should know what I mean and what I'm talking about. But yeah, so just stuff like that, like you just can be somebody who's just like really having a hard time right now, and you're just going through some sort of addiction. Again, I know, like I said, again, for me, it's the phone. I tend to get on the phone a lot, wanting to scroll on the phone. TikTokers, especially, kids that are young and are in school, and like teenagers and stuff like that, you tend to get on the phone and stuff a lot. You get on the phone when you're supposed to be doing like that homework assignment, or you got to study for that exam or that test or whatever, but you get on the phone instead and start scrolling, open up the TikTok app and start scrolling, especially if you're not really like a person on the TikTok app, like trying to create, like not create, but like having a platform on there. instead of like being like creating and making videos, you're like a consumer and like watching other people do videos and stuff like that, right? So I'm definitely guilty of that, and I've definitely been like a person who's been doing that for like years now, and kind of just like not really having a life, just like being a consumer, and like wasting my life, wasting my time and stuff like that, when I could have been like making videos of like my art and stuff like that, and helping people, as far as with that. But yeah, so like I was saying before, it's you know, you could be, again, having a hard time, you could have kids, and you could have a job that's like stressing you out. It could be something as far as like, you could try to be like somebody who's trying to like grow a business or something like that, that's like starting a business, but it's too stressful and stuff like that. I mean, like, if you're somebody who's like drinking and like smoking to like party and have a good time, that's okay. Like, that's what people are gonna do. People are gonna pull out the bottle of Tito's or something, or Jack Daniels or Henny. I know, especially in the black community, we definitely are Henny drinkers. Like, if you go to a black party, you are going to see a bottle of Henny. I know, like, from my family, there's a whole bunch of alcohol, whole bunch of Henny drinkers, whole bunch of weed smokers in my family, whole bunch of just alcoholics, weed smokers. Because it's always about trying to feel good. It's always about wanting to get high and have a good time, which, that's okay. Like, if it's like for partying and stuff like that, like, yeah, it's okay to do that. But if you're like somebody who needs to be high and stuff all the time, who doesn't like get back into like being like getting back into like a sober kind of state, then yeah, it's an addiction. It's an addiction, like, where you need to go to the bar, like, after you get off work or something, you end up going to the bar or something, or you end up having some money and you end up buying a bottle. Like, I've definitely been somebody who's been sneaky and like going to the store and buying like bottles of like vodka or like wine or like Jack or something like that, like liquor and stuff like that, when I know I could have been. But yeah, so like, if you're, again, like I'm saying, like, if it's for partying and like just want to have a good time and stuff like that, like, that's okay. But if you like need it, if you're like not partying and if you need it for like, because you just don't want to, like, personally for me, I like to drink because, like, I haven't been really drinking that much. I kind of just been like sober a little bit, or smoking weed. But I personally like to do it to help me focus, as far as like when I want to do like work on like projects and stuff like that, like my art and stuff like that. I like to do it for that. I like to do it to dissociate. I like to be buzzed and to be high, to dissociate and stuff like that. I like, just, again, anything to feel good and to not really, to step away from reality for a minute, and to step away from reality, to just like escape. I think that's what a lot of the root cause is. Not only it being like dopamine, but also for like just like needing to escape. Again, on the phone and stuff a lot. It could be, again, needing to escape, scrolling on the phone, and then it's like you scroll so much on the phone that when you get out of that like that zone of just like scrolling and stuff on the phone a lot, you realize, like, you end up feeling guilty, and then you realize how much hours and time that you've wasted because you've been scrolling on the phone and stuff a lot. and stuff like that. So yeah, so we kind of just want to like get back into like being healthy and getting back into like life and living, especially if you're somebody who's like me, who's a homebody and stays in the house a lot. But yeah, so finding out what the cause is. Again, I put out there, my bad. I put there as far as like dopamine receptors. You just like, you know, your brain getting hooked, and then it's like once you get it started, it's just like a constant going on and on and on again. So like, especially being on the phone a lot, like if you're, again, like me, being on the phone a lot, you tend to like, it's constant like distraction as far as like this video being uploaded, somebody uploading this video, you going on the internet watching YouTube videos, and then after that video you got done watching, here's another video that pops up, and then there's another video that pops up, and then there's and then it's like, it's a constant kind of like roller coaster loop cycle that you're in, right? And then on TikTok is literally made for that. It's literally made to have people do this all day. Instagram, same thing. Any sort of like social media. I think like if you're not like a creator or anybody who is like trying to help build a platform or like grow a business on and using social media for that, then what you want to do first is delete social media. That's what you want to do first. I have like TikTok and Instagram because I'm an artist and I'm trying to utilize that to build my platform. Even YouTube, that's why I still have it. But I tend to get very like lost and like I get like distracted. I'm very guilty as far as like getting distracted and going to watch other people's videos and stuff like that instead of, you know, making my own to help other people and to grow and build a platform, right? So yeah, but that's what you want to do first. You want to not like fight the addiction or whatever it is that you're like addicted to, but kind of just like distract yourself from like wanting to do it. And if it's like really bad to the point where it's like no matter what you do, you just can't seem to like get out of it, like get out of like, you know, that hook that you're hooked, whatever it is that you're hooked onto, then yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem. And I'm not gonna say like go talk to a therapist, but I would go say that. I mean, I'm in therapy. I haven't been in therapy in like kind of a couple of days, but I would go say talk to a therapist, but I'm not gonna go say talk to a therapist because I understand that it's like, I understand how challenging and difficult it can be as far as like, because you're so like attached to it. And I think that's what it is. The root problem of all addiction, I think, is attachment and like having a hard time. It can be the same thing for like, you can be addicted to a person. You know, addicted to like thinking about that, like falling in love and stuff like that, like addicted to like thinking about that person all the time, end up becoming obsessed over them, like just stuff like that. And all of that. So yeah, but that's what it is. Like a lot of it is attachment, just like being attached. But yeah, so if you're just having like a hard time as far as like trying to get yourself out of it, but you just can't because it's like you need it and you're like so dependable on it and stuff like that, then yeah, it's a problem. It's definitely a problem. And we need to sort it out. We need to figure out what it is. And like I said, a lot of it, 99% of the time, is being attached. It's getting attached. So, like I said, you want to figure out and you want to have a replacement. That's what you want to do. You want to have a replacement to make sure that you don't, not like necessarily avoid that thing. So like, again, whatever it is, could be drugs, could be alcohol, could be weed, could be like, I know, for instance, I've dealt with people in my family that are heavily weed smokers. Like, they gotta have weed like every day 24/7, or alcohol every day 24/7, and they're so dependable on it, dependentable on it. And I know for like some of those people, if they don't have weed, that they'll end up, because weed, if you're smoking it for a very long time, it can end up like messing up, like pretty much fucking with your moods and stuff like that, like messing with your moods and stuff like that. You end up just like being moody and being like angry and stuff for no reason if you don't have, your blunt. If you don't have your blunt, right? When in actuality, weed is actually a spiritual thing. It's a psychedelic in a sense. And people back in the days of like the 50s, not the 50s, but like the 60s, 70s, like the hippie era, it was utilized as an experiment. So when people would smoke it, of course, you get the high feeling and all of that. You get high, and yeah, it was utilized for an experiment. It wasn't really necessarily utilized for, it was even utilized in like people that were like in like I think like mental hospital and psychiatric wards, which I've been to a mental hospital before. But yeah, it really wasn't. It's a spiritual thing. It's not really meant to be abused in some kind of way. And the reason why you would even want to smoke weed so much, which in today's now world that we live in, every high school party you go to, every event that you go to, especially in the black community, you are going to be having a whole lot of weed smokers. Somebody's going to be rolling up a blunt and smoking it. And yeah, and I find that it's not for everybody. Like, I've definitely smoked weed a lot before, and it's great as far as when you get high, but then when it's like, when you start to like get, like, it starts like, when you get like a head high, like depending on what type of weed that you're smoking, it could be like indica or like a sativa, whatever, which one like gives you the head high and then which one gives you the body high. Personally, me, I like the body high. I don't like the head high, because I start to get, you start getting paranoid and panic attacks and stuff like that. So, and then it's like all your thoughts is coming all at once, and you can't even really focus on the high. You can't even really enjoy the high because you got too many thoughts and stuff coming at you all at once, and it forces you to deal with your thoughts, in a way. So, yeah, and like I said, in today's world, you just have people who just, that's like the thing to do. It's just every time you like want to like lay back and chill, you thinking about rolling a blunt or something like that because you want to get high and stuff like that, right? I'm not telling anybody to stop doing it. If you need to get high and smoke weed, then do it. But again, this is also for people who is trying to improve and get out of whatever hooked that they're that they've hooked themselves onto. But yeah, so you know, it's, or whatever, something happens, like you could be arguing with your family you could be arguing with your family and you just like don't want to deal with whatever just happened, so you go and roll up a blunt, or you go and buy a bottle of liquor or something, and it's just really, really bad, but weed is definitely utilized for like many different types of things. I know for me, when I would smoke it, and then when I would like kind of like be kind of relaxed and high, I would tend to be more creative. So I would kind of like utilize it for my art, and like it makes me more creative and stuff like that, right? Which you don't really need weed in order to be creative, because creativity is a natural thing that was given to us, right? By the higher source, or by God, right? But yeah, so so you just kind of like want to figure out, oh no, that's what I was talking about, what I was getting back into. So yeah, like everywhere people just like smoke weed. You go to a party, if you're in high school, you go to a high school party, first thing they want to get you to do is to get high and to get drunk and all of that stuff, which again, if you're having, like, there's nothing wrong with that if you're having a good time and you want to get high and drunk and stuff like that, like, of course. But it's like, it's utilized as a trend more than like utilized as like not really, what's the word I'm looking for? Like being balanced with it, like utilizing it in a healthy way instead of just like abusing it or wanting to smoke weed because you want to fit in or whatever with the crowd. I know for me, that's kind of like how I started smoking weeds, because I was curious and I wanted to fit in some kind of way. But it's not for everybody. Like, not everybody can handle it, it kind of gives you, like, Miss Mary Jane marijuana, it kind of gives you a warning. Like, she gives you a warning as far as like, are you sure? Like, is it for you? Type thing. But yeah, so yeah, you just kind of like, you just kind of want to figure out what it is. So like, if you're just like, if you know that, like, if you're aware that if it's like if you're aware that if it's a problem, then it's most likely a problem. If you're like, if you can't just get yourself out of whatever it is that you're like hooked onto, right? So like, again, if you're somebody who goes on like the internet a lot and goes on certain websites, if you're somebody who looks at porn a lot and stuff, which I'm guilty of that too. I mean, everybody probably in one point in their life have kind of looked at porn and been exposed to it, especially if you're a child, which you shouldn't be. If you're a child looking at this, then no, you shouldn't be looking at this, because it's not for kids. Even though I kind of look like a kid. But anyways, yeah, so, and doing stuff like that, if you're like a porn addict and you need to go off and looking at people, which porn does a lot of damaging to your mind and to your brain, because the thing about it is that, especially if you're looking at it like a lot and you're just seeing like all sorts of images and people's buttholes and just people's stuff, and that turns you on Like, it's okay to look at it like once in a while, but if you need to look at it like every single day, then there's a problem there. There's a problem. And I'm not really judging, but again, this is a video about trying to get out of that, like not come back to it. And it's okay to like relapse and stuff like that. Like, that's actually what I was going to end up saying later, but I'm actually going to say it now, as far as like, if you are going through like some sort of addiction, but you're having like, you end up, you know, replacing that addiction with whatever it is that you're addicted to something good, and you end up focusing on something good, like exercising or reading a book or meditating or just going outside in nature, or, you know, just making sure you kind of be healthy, kind of replace that thing that whatever you're addicted to something healthy, right? But then once you do get out of that and you do go to like, you know, you do start like taking care of yourself and getting like becoming healthy, even mentally and physically and spiritually, right? And you're like working on your goals or something like that, right? But then it ends up coming back again, and it's like, it's a test by God, really. You end up listening to the demon again on your shoulder, the devil on your shoulder, and the angel on your shoulder, right? So the demon telling you yes, it's okay, like do it, but then the angel telling you no. You know, like in the cartoons, how they would have like the angel pop up on the shoulder, and then like, so kind of like your guides, your angels, and your demons, because your angels are the ones to help you keep you on the right track. So like spirit guides, stuff like that. And then your demons are the ones to help you. Your demons are there to like make sure you don't do what you need to do. So like, I've definitely been a demon in some type of sense, or listening to my demons in some type of sense. So like, you know, just the whole battle between God and the devil type thing, which would be your angel and your demon, or the angel and the devil. But anyways, yeah, so you could be like, you know, it could be like a couple months that pass, or a couple weeks that pass, and you're doing really, really good, but then you come back to that thing of like a bottle of liquor, and you're just like, you know, I'm just gonna take like one shot is good. And then it's like, okay. And then like a couple hours pass or minutes pass, and then you're just like going shot after shot after shot after shot, and then you get back into like relapsing. Or again, for like porn watchers, if you're somebody who again is addicted to porn, and you're going on those websites, and you're just gonna be like, you know what, I was doing good and not looking at porn videos, but I'm just gonna do it like one more time. And then you go on those websites, and then, you know, you get your, for guys, for men, you know, you get your lotion, or you get the box of tissue paper or napkins or whatever, you know, you do your thing. And then once it's done again. And then you're like, damn, I end up feeling guilty, because you knew that you weren't supposed to go back to doing it in the first place, right? So, yeah. Yeah, so, but again, what I was saying about like porn and stuff like that, for like porn watchers and stuff like that, which I'm guilty of this, because I've definitely been exposed to porn at a young age, and definitely gone on porn back when I was like middle school and high school and stuff like that. So don't feel ashamed if you're somebody who's watching this and you're like going through that right now, especially if you're young and you're like a teenager, and your hormones and everything, and sex and all that stuff. And yeah, I'll get into that later, probably in another video. But yeah, so it's very damaging to the brain, looking at porn and stuff a lot, because you're looking at all these images and stuff like and looking at people's parts and stuff like that, and looking at people do things to other people and all that stuff. And it can mess you up in some kind of way mentally, because you can be thinking about sex a lot, especially if you're somebody who's like celibate like me. You don't really do too much sex. You could think about sex a lot. It could have you view people as objects, like look at them as like they're objects, instead of just looking at them like they're a regular normal person. But you look at them like as a sex object, especially if you're a guy. I know a lot of porn watchers mainly are guys. Even though it'd be women too, a lot of porn watchers are guys. It's mainly guys. But yeah, you start like viewing people and looking at people like they're objects. Like they're like something to fuck, instead of something to just like, instead of just them being like just a person. You start seeing people as like objects and stuff. Porn can have you do that, especially if you're looking at a lot of it. It's not really good for your mental, so you kind of just like definitely want to detox from that. But yeah, like, if there's like a man or like a boy or somebody who's like having a hard time with that, like looking at porn stuff, don't feel ashamed. Don't feel like guilty, because again, everybody has looked at porn. Everybody has either been exposed to it in some kind of way, or they just ended up one day going to their parents' computer and then ended up finding all of these pop-up ads of like naked girls or whatever, and just like a whole bunch of stuff like that, right? And yeah, like, don't feel bad, especially if you're like a teenage boy in high school and you're like, you got hormones and stuff and testosterone and like all of that. Just kind of like, just kind of don't do it. Like, if it's bad, then don't do it. Like, because a lot of boys, especially like, my experience in high school and stuff like that, when I was in high school, like, a lot of boys can tend to look at girls like they're objects. Like, not even just like boys, but like girls can even look at guys like they're objects too. But they can like only care about, like, only want that person because that girl could have like a nice butt, or she can have like some titties or something like that, and then they don't really want to like get to know the girl. They only want to know her. They only want to get to know her, be in a relationship with her, because they want to have sex with her, right? Stuff like that. Like, if you're a boy who's like going through something like that, or if you're a guy who's going through something like that, like, don't perceive somebody like they're objects. Like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to perceive somebody like they're sex objects, because that's not. I'm trying to like come back into, because I have like a hard time kind of communicating sometimes, so especially when I'm trying to get like my point across. But yeah, like, like, don't date a girl because you only like her for her body and stuff like that. Like, if you really like a girl, don't, like, people are not objects, people are just people. Like, they're not somebody that you can just utilize to want to just, have sex with and then be done with, like, it's just dangerous. Like, porn is just, it's a dangerous thing. Like, it's okay to like, look at it occasionally, but like, if you need it like all the time, then it's a problem there. It's a problem there. especially like with fetishes and stuff like that. Like there's different types of fetishes, and I'm not gonna get into that because that's like some deep dark stuff. But I'm not gonna, as far as like the dark side of looking at porn and going on those websites, you're gonna see some stuff that was never meant to be seen. But only for people who have certain types of fetishes. But I'm not gonna get into that. So yeah, you know, like I was saying, like it can really mess you up mentally, and spiritually. Like you can just start, like you might even start like just like not even really going out with friends or whatever. You could be like say like your friends want to go and hang out somewhere, but you like, no, I gotta go do X, Y, and Z, but really you want to go on that computer or on that phone and go on XXX hub, you know, stuff like that, and go and watch people do things. So yeah, yeah, huh? Hello. I'm doing something right now. Oh, okay. But anyways, sorry, it's like a stranger trying to talk to me. But anyways, yeah, it's not good for your mind. So if you're somebody who's going through that kind of addiction, kind of just replace it with something that it's going to help you, benefit you in some kind of way. You know, it could be going to like work out, especially if you're a guy. You know, you got testosterone. You know, if down there is like uncontrollable, you know, stuff like that, go like work out or something, or go do something good. that's what I'm really mainly trying to get across, is just go do something good. Go do something that is going to help benefit either somebody else or yourself in some kind of way. Yeah, go do something good. Please. Because it's not worth it. Whatever that thing is that you're addicted to, it's not worth it. It's not. And if you're noticing that it's doing more damage, as far as it's harming you rather than doing good to you, what's that saying? Where it's like it does more damage more than it does good, right? You want to let it go. You don't want to keep relying on it, especially if you need it because it makes you feel good or it makes you happy, you know. Like, and don't think that like once you do get out of whatever it is that you're on to right now, that you're gonna get out of it. Like, because it could be a challenge. Addictions are challenging. It's a very challenging thing, especially if you're trying to change and improve in life, and grow in some kind of way, you know. It can be a very challenging thing. So don't think that you're gonna be like 100% perfect. Be like, yeah, like I got out of this, and like you're probably gonna have moments where you're gonna relapse, you know, on that thing that you were, you know, whatever it is that you were hooked onto or addicted to. So don't think that once you do get out of it, you're gonna be out of it and it's just gonna be like perfect. Like, no, it's not. I know for me, like when I would have moments where I'll just be like, you know what, I know this is not helping me in some kind of way. I know I need to make some sort of type of change, right? And then when I do have moments where I'll be like not going on the phone or as much, or trying to put my intention somewhere else, and focus my intention somewhere else rather than, you know, being on the phone, or probably even, again, for my maladaptive daydreamers, daydreaming and stuff a lot. It could be, you know, stuff like that, which I made videos about that. So if you are a maladaptive daydreamer, which it's really us just starseeds looking in and on it's really us just starseeds looking in on other portals and stuff like that, or going in the astral realm, stuff like that, go check those videos out. I made those videos for people who are maladaptive daydreamers and stuff like that, or who are like addicted to daydreaming uncontrollably. Yeah, so what I was saying, yeah, just having like, you know, trying to focus my mind, or like trying to change in some kind of way, you end up being like, it could be like days or weeks that pass, and you'd be like, yeah, okay, I'm kind of proud of myself, I did this, like I wasn't, you know, I didn't go back to doing what I know was not good for me, right? Whatever that thing that I was addicted to or hooked onto. Again, it could be phone, drugs, porn, alcohol, food, sex, video games, whatever that thing is. And then you're just like, well, you can kind of like reward yourself in a way, because you knew that you did it, and that you were strong, and that it wasn't challenging, you know? And yeah, so but yeah, just pretty much just getting to the root cause of it. And the root cause, again, like I said, is a lot of it is just attachment, or just needing some sort of escape in life, or just because you feel bad in some kind of way, or you feel sad, or you're depressed, or you're just going in a downward spiral. You know, you're just going in this dark hole, and you're really having like a hard time kind of trying to get yourself out of it, right? Another thing is like going to talk to somebody. Like, you know, therapy is, I know everybody, especially if you're somebody who'd be like, well, I don't really need therapy and stuff. Therapy is good for you. It's good. It's good to talk to somebody. You can talk to like a friend. My phone. You can talk to like a friend or a family member, or anybody that you feel comfortable or trustworthy, as far as like, you know, talking to them about that kind of stuff, or whatever it is that you're going through, that you're addicted to. You know, but going to talk to somebody is definitely important. Yeah, going to talk to somebody is important, so make sure you do that. Make sure you go talk to somebody. And I'm not gonna say like, I'm not gonna be like the type of person to be like, oh, go get help, you need therapy. But just like, you know, just talking to somebody is important about your stuff, or whatever it is that you're going through, and stuff like that. So yeah. And then another thing is like, you know, again, you want to replace that thing, that you want to figure out what it is, and kind of like replace that thing with like something that's gonna, again, help you improve in life, and help you grow, and help you do better. Not saying that you're a bad person and that you're not doing good, because we all have things that we're like hooked onto, or like addicted to in some kind of way, you know, and that it's not, and that it's okay, and that you don't have to feel necessarily bad or ashamed, but you end up kind of do feeling guilty. So I'm making this video for people who are going through that, but also for myself, because I'm definitely somebody who is addicted, as far as like addicted to like my phone, or even addicted to like drinking, you know, like alcoholism, which again, like I said, I haven't been really doing that as much. I kind of been sober, which is good. Which is good. You know, it's just that thing, like dealing with like your demons, dealing with that devil in your mind that wants you to that's trying to get you to do the thing, and you're trying to be an angel as far as like not wanting to do that thing, you know. So just taking care of yourself and like loving yourself in a way. I can't really talk because again, I'm still going through that myself. So yeah. You know, just like really trying to like know that you have something that's like an issue, and just kind of facing that issue, you know. Not that there's anything wrong, but just like being like, okay, I know I have something going on with me. I know I need to change some kind of way, especially if you're just like, you're just having a hard time, and you're just like completely hooked onto the drugs, you're completely hooked onto the alcohol, you're completely hooked onto the food, you're completely, not the food, my bad, you need food, but you're completely hooked onto the porn, you're completely hooked onto the video games or whatever. Like, just making sure you incorporate things that it's going to save you and help you from yourself. Because it's nothing but we're not, it's nothing but ourselves doing it to ourselves, you know. It's like it's not like nobody's making us going to, unless you got that demon, that spirit, aka a spirit, going telling you to go do those things, which don't listen to that bastard. Tell that bastard, no, I'm not gonna fucking do it. I'm not gonna go and go on those websites. I'm not gonna go and go and buy another drink unless I mean, go and take another shot or whatever. I'm not gonna go and fucking go on that phone or go on those apps unless I'm using it for a platform or to help benefit me in some type of way, you know, stuff like that. Yeah. So just tell that bastard no. Like, I'm not gonna go and pop another pill of Molly or do Molly or some shit or do whatever kind of drug is out there, or meth or whatever fucking shit that people are hooked on or some shit. Or it could even be acid, which acid shouldn't even be a thing, that again shouldn't even be abused. Even mushrooms, because those things are like psychedelic kind of things like hallucinogenic type shit that make you see shit. Yeah, those things shouldn't even be abused, because those are more like spiritual things, right? So yeah, I think that's it. I was trying to like communicate this in a way that wasn't all over the place, because I'm very kind of like, where it's like my thoughts are kind of like all over the place, like my words and everything, like what I'm trying to like get out is kind of like all over the place. So if it seems like it's like it doesn't really make sense to you, and I'm kind of just like doing all of this, just let me know, and I'll try to like work on my communication and stuff like that too, for you guys, because yeah. But again, don't feel bad, don't feel ashamed if you're looking at this video and you're like addicted to something and you feel like really guilty or bad for it. Don't feel bad, because again, we all have things and that we're like hooked onto, and that you don't have to feel bad, or even if you feel alone in it, you don't have to feel alone in that sense. And that you can always change. You can always get yourself out of that position, that place of whatever that you're in right now, you know. I want this message to definitely be inspiring to somebody to like incorporate some sort of change into their life as well as mine. So yeah, I hope this helped anybody out there that come across this video and, you know, is going through that. as well as myself. And I hope we get ourselves out of it, and I hope we try to do better. You know, I'm gonna be making more videos as far as for like other star seeds and so-called chosen people and black sheeps and all that stuff. I'm gonna be making a video of what it's like to be living with a abusive parent or a narcissistic parent. I'm gonna be making a video about that too. So yeah, and what it's like and what it feels like to be a black sheep in the family. And yeah, so again, thank you for watching, and I hope that this helped you in some kind of way. I hope it helped, and that yeah, you can get out of it. You don't have to stay in it forever. You can get out of it. And that you're strong, and that don't let it control you. You be the controller of it. Don't let it control you. All right? So yeah, have a nice day, nice night, wherever you are. Yeah, later.